Welcome to the Bible Forum, January 27th, 2019. I want to talk to you about what happens when church becomes a business. And churches are increasingly becoming businesses. I mentioned to you a week or so ago about Harvest Bible Chapel, how they were struggling with what to do about their pastor, a fellow by the name of James MacDonald, very popular pastor in the last 20 years or so. MacDonald is the founder of Harvest Bible Chapel and has been found guilty of financial and administrative misconduct. As a result, his punishment was a forced sabbatical. Not fired, just told to go away for a while and think about it. It's being reported now that MacDonald has put the church in debt to the tune of over $40 million. Now that's a lot of money. But the article says that it was once $70 million. The debt apparently being diminished by people and groups giving money, as Pastor MacDonald issues these regular pleas. You know how those things go. Well, ChristianHeadlines.com is reporting that MacDonald announced last week, following the end of a defamation lawsuit, we weren't told that the last time around, and accusations of financial and administrative misconduct, that he would be taking an indefinite sabbatical. And that's the end of the story. But it's not. Pastor MacDonald is taking this sabbatical in Florida. He has a home there, apparently. And apparently the leadership of his church in the Midwest has instructed one of their campus church pastors in Florida to allow James to preach at his church during this time of sabbatical. The pastor in Florida doesn't like that idea. He has resisted that idea. He has balked at that. He has written back and forth and had conversation. He is adamant he doesn't want this to happen. Now, Pastor John Seacrest, who heads up the Naples location, is less than pleased with the decision. And he has asked the elders to rescind that decision. Relevant Magazine reported that. And the elders replied by firing the man. They fired the pastor in Florida, and they have removed him from the Harvest Naples website. Now, the question becomes, can they do this? Well, not biblically, no. But then very little about any of this is biblical. You see, the Florida church was operating as an independent church. They've been in business since 2016. But last February, they asked to be included in the Harvest Bible Chapel family of churches. The official statement speaks of partnering with Harvest Chicago. However, all of this happened while the mother church in Chicago was going through this issue with their pastor. They knew about all of this stuff that was going on, something they apparently did not disclose to the Florida church. And ultimately, they embraced them into their family. The report indicates the elders wrote, quote, "Despite great efforts and reasoning, John has chosen not to yield to the consensus of our local leadership team or the elders of Harvest Bible Chapel," end of quote. The statement continues by saying, conversations with John over the last few months, culminating this week, have made it clear that he no longer desires to work for Harvest Bible Chapel because of his continued unwillingness to yield to the direction of the elders and the insubordinate email he recently sent counter to elder direction. It has become clear that he should not continue in his role. What subordinate email? They don't tell us. but it's probably the one he sent to the membership of his church explaining what was going on. A communication the elders at the mother church didn't want the memberships in Florida to know about. Now here's the lesson. There is no biblical warrant for a mother church shepherding a bunch of daughter churches, having authority over them. The churches of the Lord Jesus Christ are autonomous. They are local. Their leadership is local. They can solicit advice from anybody, but nobody comes in and tells them what they can and cannot do. Now, my guess is that in joining up with the mother church, they did that somehow they signed away some of those uniquenesses. They had no right to do that, biblically. I'm not sure any of the people in that church, even the ones that voted for it, knew where this could lead. And it didn't even take a year. And the man is saying, the church is saying, you should have told us. We wouldn't have gone through with this, but you didn't tell this to us. You hid this from us. We had no idea these problems were going on. A man's running up a $70 million debt. What individual in any church can do that, biblically or any other way? That's the fallacy of the organization. It's not founded and organized properly, certainly not biblically. And this church now, seeing the handwriting, wants out, and they should be allowed out. But no, now they're being punished. You do know what's going to happen, right? They're going to dissolve and reorganize under a different name. And they'll continue. They'll be wiser, but they will be hurt. And there will be people in that congregation who say, so this is what Christianity is. And they'll bail. And they'll end up at, some other church where there's just a lot of singing and prancing around and nobody says anything important. But they'll feel better. It's an amazing time we live in.